WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
It is 10:06 at WPSL 1590, the talk of the Treasure Coast, 7:06 in lovely Las Vegas, Nevada. And I'm not even sure if we have a Mercury up in the ice station Zebra, which happens to be Charles Moskowitz, somewhere under an icicle. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. It's like 72 and sunny here. I don't know what you're talking
72 and sunny. Yeah, right. Oh, man. So how much snow did you get?
It does get to 72 here in Las Vegas.
Well, yeah, I know. Yeah. Tell me about it, Michael. Yeah, you got the best weather in the world right now.
Yes, we do.
Oh, boy. Yeah. But Charles, did this storm live up to its billing?
It did up here. Evidently, it didn't in New York or Philadelphia, but it's still snowing here, and it's not supposed to stop until this afternoon, early evening.
Wow.
It's only about 2 feet of snow.
Oh, my God.
So far.
I'll keep you shoveling for a while.
Not me, pal.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh.
My guys plowed the driveway twice already.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Holy
Yeah,
smokes.
it's a lot easier to move, 10 or 12 inches at a time than it is 2 feet.
Oh, my God. Oh, well, now,
But everything is closed.
Yeah, well, but apparently the stock market's open because I don't
It's only down 265.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And
yeah.
if you read the market letter,
yes,
you would have seen that this is exactly what I was talking about relative to earnings and earnings comps.
Yep.
This is all about earnings right here. Some of the biggest names came nowhere near what people were expecting. Texas Instruments was about okay, but 3M was okay.
Caterpillar disappointed.
Caterpillar disappointed tremendously, as did Microsoft, down 10% this morning, as did a couple of the other industrials.
Well, the durable goods was down sharply, and it was revised down for last month, and the stronger dollar would bring about those kind of conditions.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about in the letter, that the strong dollar will be great for tourism for U.S. going to really anywhere in the world, but it really hurts the multinationals.
right.
It's coming here.
Yeah, now, Mike, the Caterpillar situation, I was watching Bloomberg over the weekend, and they were talking about the fact that since China has slowed, and that's what a lot of the where a lot of the Caterpillar equipment was going, that would hurt the Caterpillar earnings. I don't know whether that's true or not, but that's what they were talking about over the weekend.
Yeah, well, everywhere earnings are not what they were quite expected to be, and you can blame the strong dollar on that. By the same token, take a company like 3M. Their sales were down, even in a robust economy. Their sales were down $50 million, down 2%.
That's hard to imagine. They're into everything. Yeah, that's really hard to imagine with 3M. Wow.
Well, if they got paid, and they do tremendous international business, and if you got paid in euros,
Yep.
you got skunked by 10%.
Oh, okay.
The euro is down 10%.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so, you have to remember, a lot of the 3M stuff, while it's not commodity like gold or computer chips or stuff, but it's stuff that there are pretty thin margins. You take 10% off, off earnings, and again, I will mention it as I have for the last 2 years. You cannot cut and lay off to prosperity. At some point in time, you have to actually make money.
Yeah.
You actually have to grow a company instead of shrinking it. I mean, they were talking about a company this morning. I don't even remember who it was, but they were talking about it as, in the past 3 years, this company has bought back 25% of its outstanding and laid off a third of its workers.
Wow.
That's great. That's terrific.
But meanwhile,
but you don't have to grow it.
Corning had rapid earnings growth, and the stock is up sharply.
Mm-hmm.
They earned 45 cents versus 29. They had almost 30% improvement.
Really? Well, now...
Well, Greg, the problem really is pretty simple. You have all these analysts who put out numbers, and people say, they only missed by a penny, or they only missed by a nickel. The problem is that these guys extrapolate out in order to maintain buys on stocks as they rise. And so, the multiplier effect takes effect in this. And then you got a quarter that, goes in the wrong direction, and all of a sudden, it's the old butterfly effect. What you have is you have to rewrite absolutely everything that you did from that day forward.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one of the companies that was down so hard this morning, but they were talking about not only did they miss, but they already downgraded 2015's full year projections.
Wow.
That's a hard thing to come back from.
Yeah, I would say so. Hey, are we not having enough kids in this country? Did you see yesterday where Mattel's CEO walked the plank because they're down like 5 quarters in a row, which is hard to imagine because they're the biggest toy maker out there. But they've been, they got Barbie, Fisher-Price.
Here's the thing, Greg, or at least this is the way that I see it. It's no different than the debacle that took place in the teen and tween retailers. They're in the wrong area.
Okay.
Kids today are much more into gaming, and we have a guest on for gaming today.
Yeah.
They're into gaming and Transformers and superheroes, all of the stuff that you see coming into the movies.
Wow.
Mattel, on the other hand, is still pinned to Barbie.
Old school. Yeah, well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so
G.I. Joe, yeah.
It's just like anything else. They're in the wrong product.
Wow.
They may make a great product, but, kids, young kids are as fickle as teenagers in what they want and how badly they want it. And so Mattel has a real problem.
Well, apparently, adding to that problem, obviously with our Christmas Kids campaign this past year, the big thing were the Frozen dolls from the movie. They lose that franchise from Disney to Hasbro next Christmas. So it's like, uh-oh. That was the real hot toy this year. So, you just have to wonder, wow, what's going to happen to Mattel out there? By the way, did you guys happen to catch the Ford CEO on Bloomberg over the weekend? Where he was
Which?
The Ford Motor Company.
No, I did not.
CEO, who was talking about the fact that they are very pleased to be moving a major portion of their business to Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Because they are an information company. And it's like, whoa.
Well, I mean,
and then,
think about it. I love my old BMW
Yep.
because when something goes wrong with it, it's mechanical.
Yeah.
However, my wife's Altima is a computer with wheels,
Yes. Uh-huh.
as is the Tesla, as is so many of the new cars. I mean, you must have heard in the last week or so the fact that manufacturers are going to stop putting CD players
Yes.
in automobiles
Yep.
because they all have Bluetooth,
Yep.
and anybody with a smartphone can operate it the way that they want to. So I mean, you look at it that way, and you say Silicon Valley is a natural for a company like this. Also, by the way, I want to say I really like the Ford in here. I like it for a number of reasons. The main one, of course, being that they didn't take any money and they made it on their own.
Mm-hmm.
But their new trucks, the new F-150 trucks,
Oh, the aluminum?
which people are beginning to buy more of with
Yep.
cheap gas, of course, but they also have the connection with Alcoa, which has been a phenomenal winner,
Ooh.
in that their new F-150, what they call hardened aluminum or stronger aluminum, weighs 700 pounds less, and they're flying out of the dealerships.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we happen to know a Ford dealer here, and they cannot keep them on the floor. They just simply can't. What's very interesting, the guys in the morning show, speaking of technology, we're talking about the new, remember on the Today Show back in 94 when Brian Gumble and, what's her name? Kelly, not Kelly, no. Katie Couric. We're talking about the internet, and they didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
Well,
And they didn't know what the at sign meant.
yeah. Well, they turned that into a brand new commercial for BMW and their new electric car, and apparently it's hysterical. It's the modern day version of that old scene, so it's going to be kind of funny. So watch it during the Super Bowl. There's no doubt it's going to be there. But what it intrigues me is the fact that all the stuff that I know Bloomberg was talking about. The technologies that the new cars are going to have by 2020, where they'll be totally autonomous, and that vehicle entry and starting is all going to be biometric. Mm-hmm. Now, I still don't understand how you can do that and park in a valet lot. I don't understand how that's going to work. But
it's easy.
Okay. Go ahead, Charles.
It's the same thing that they do with the, have you heard anything about the new Dodge Challenger? The 710 horsepower version of it?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, something that we definitely need is a Dodge that goes, 230 miles an hour.
Highway Patrol hasn't been buying it.
The Dodge has two ways to run it, and it addresses exactly that issue. There are two keys, and so it's biometrically it could be the same thing. It's just a matter of choice. But the new Dodge has a regular key and a valet key.
Okay.
And when you give the valet the car with the valet key, or you biometrically set it to valet,
wow. Okay.
then it only has 260 horsepower, and they can't screw around with it.
Yeah. Wow.
So you think about it that way, and that's an easy one to figure. I mean, even my old BMW has two different keys for a different reason. The valet key doesn't open the trunk or the glove compartment.
Correct.
It only starts the car.
Yeah.
So, they're brighter than you and me, Greg. They'll figure it out.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I guess the big thing that they're talking about are supercar 4-cylinder engines. And that's going to be phenomenal. By the way, AAA this morning made the announcement that gas prices are going to go back up We saw oil just increase just a little bit, not by much, but a little bit this morning. But the summer blends, as you guys have talked about, are on their way for California and Illinois, and that's going to raise the price of gas. It won't even be to $3 a gallon, but it's going to be up there. And we're down to almost
gas around the corner from me is $1.97.
Yeah, we're at $2. Yeah, it's amazing. So, Michael, the euro, and you guys talk about this all the time, and ETFs. Apparently, ETFs are flying out the door because of the Greek election. So, what's going on in Europe?
Well, they had 7 or 8 days of rallies. Europe was very strong for like a whole week of trading. This is their first down day. So the markets pretty much like the fundamentals of easier money. And that's what it's all about around the world, is making dollars less expensive to come by. That procedure has worked well in America, and it seems to be working in Japan. So I think Europe is following it.
I heard somebody talking about the DAX yesterday, saying, pulling the statistic out, since January 6th, today's what, the 26th?
Mm-hmm.
27th?
27, yeah.
In the last week and a half of trading, the DAX is up 15%.
Whoa. Really?
That's a pretty big index to move 15%.
Yeah, yeah, I'd say. Yes. Holy smokes.
Yeah, it's time for an adjustment, and we're getting that. You know, like DuPont, which had a tremendous, nice move for 3 months, is finally down 5% today. But it was overdue to be pulled back. We said to sell it. We've had it listed for several months.
And we've traded it very successfully from the long side, too.
Yeah, certainly. I think, you know, nothing goes forever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's time for the European stocks to make a little move relative to ours.
So how about buying a house this year? What does it look like?
The right time.
Okay.
I think housing has got to get better.
Mm-hmm. Now,
Why not?
I think, didn't D.R. Horton have good numbers yesterday?
Yes.
They're going
And
crazy.
they're one of the biggest.
Yeah, they're going crazy with their developments here in Florida. I mean, it's, yeah. And we're starting to see that now with a lot of businesses, the developers, especially the ones from the West Coast, the Pulte's of the world and D.R. Horton, that, you know, it pulled off the air for all intents and purposes. Lennar, they're back on. So it's like, okay, this is going to get interesting, you know, and yeah, well, so it's a good time to buy.
Well, you know, if you talk to a real estate broker, it's always a good time to buy.
That's true.
I mean, when you think about it, you know, if you have to live somewhere,
yeah,
you get the tax advantage of the mortgage interest. You know, it would cost me as much to rent as it does to pay my mortgage here.
Wow, really?
Because the rental market is tight. By the way, speaking about rental properties and developments, you saw the fire in New Jersey.
Oh God, yeah.
The units built by Avalon Bay, which, by the way, also burned to the ground when they were constructing it originally.
Really?
Yes, and they were talking, you know, they need something to talk about here. There was no weather last week, and there was a big fire, so, you know, they needed something to talk about. Avalon Bay evidently builds their luxury developments, like the one in New Jersey, gated communities.
Okay.
They have been doing something for years to make those units quieter. And what they've been doing is they've been leaving space between the floor and ceiling going down, and the ceiling and the floor above going up. And evidently, when one of them catches fire, fire spreads rather quickly
They all go.
because of all of the open space between floors.
Oh.
So last week, one of the stations here was doing a story about there are 21, developments like this that are Avalon Bay developments that they're concerned about. And one of them here in Massachusetts did burn to the ground a couple of years ago. So
Wow.
just kind of an interesting, so, there's, again, as we say in all things relative to the market, unintended consequences.
Yeah.
You spoke about D.R. Horton. Their earnings weren't just a little better; they were much better.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, their sales were like 2.5 billion versus 1.6. So, I mean, you're talking about tremendous improvement in real estate and in profits for home builders.
Mike, the numbers came out for foreclosures again. And unfortunately, your hometown in Las Vegas, you're number one. So are there still a lot of foreclosures in your neck of the woods?
Well, a lot of them are for many, many years. A lot of people lived rent-free for 5 years. I mean, while the politics were being articulated in court. So a lot of these extend from the 2009, 2010 area. A lot of these foreclosures are very old. They're not relative to the current economic situation.
Mm.
And let's remember, it wasn't that long ago that realtors were complaining about lack of supply because there weren't enough foreclosures.
Yeah.
Oh, Charles. The perfect spin.
Well,
Yeah. Well, the good thing is that we are nowhere in the top 10 in Port St. Lucie, and we were in the neck of the woods, same neck of the woods as Las Vegas, Fresno, and the likes, Phoenix, and apparently those big towns, including Miami,
and
are the
and
current
frankly,
list.
the biggest in that area was out in Arizona,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mariposa County.
Yeah, Phoenix area they got blasted. I mean, I've got several good friends who live in the Valley of the Sun, and they had some real real estate horror stories.
So,
There's no doubt
sports
about it.
guy, what's your pick for the Super Bowl?
Underinflated footballs. Personally, I think that was a stroke of genius on the part of the NFL. On a dead week where there's no news, they were the lead story in NBC Nightly News, ABC, CBS.
Every night.
They were the lead story in all the newspapers in America. It was unbelievable. And people still don't want to let go of that stupid story.
No.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. But
So let me ask you something.
Yay.
In the first half, they had underinflated footballs,
Yep.
and the score was 17-7.
Right.
And in the second half, they outscored them 28-0
Right. Something like
with the regularly inflatable balls.
Yeah.
So who's to say that it wasn't somebody trying to sabotage them?
Yeah. It's the whole thing is absurd.
I mean, it's so stupid anyway, but
Yeah.
the fact of the matter is the game is kind of a pick-em. It's the Patriots are 1-point favorites. But how would you like to be a member of the Seahawks coming up to the Super Bowl where they're trying to repeat for the first, time
in years.
in many years?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
You get no press.
Yeah. Oh, no.
And the only press that you get is Marshawn Lynch getting fined or suspended for gestures relative to, those 15-yard penalties. They're getting no press.
Oh, no. Well, you know, the big thing, too, the Seattle coach was fired by New England. So, I mean, there's all sorts of, potential grudge stories you could do. But, Super Bowl's a Super Bowl. It's great entertainment, and they're usually
Frankly, when he was here,
lousy games.
When he was here,
Yep.
he was not a pro coach.
No. But
he sure did a hell of a job out west.
Yep, you got that right.
College.
Yep, there's no doubt about it. And I'll bet.
Hey, how are you guys?
Okay, this Illya is from a little company called Tapinator.
Yeah,
and
little?
Tapinator is in the gaming business, not the gambling gaming business, but the game playing business.
Uh-huh.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about Tapinator and
The symbol.
Sure.
TAPM.
Hey, guys.
TAPM.
Okay. Go for it.
Hey guys, so yeah, the symbol is TAPM, and Tapinator operates a number of different games on mobile devices. So basically, iOS, Apple's iOS platform, Google's Play platform, and Amazon devices. We have a total of upwards of 80 different gaming titles and 50 million users across those titles. And if you go to Tapinator.com, you can check out some of our games. A number of them have been featured products on the various mobile gaming platforms. And